Hey guys, this is Goku, and on this channel we talk about poker and ideas that can improve your life. Today we're gonna be playing another WPT GTO trainer session. We're gonna play 25 hands of the cutoff open versus big blind call spot. So let's get right into it. We got pocket fours on Jack King 10 rainbow, and the villain checks to us. Do we check here? Do we bet 5 or do we bet 2? I feel like it's a bet 5 spot. It is. Okay, excellent. We get called. Now an 8 of clubs falls on the turn. Do we continue betting here or do we fold? I think we're gonna check here, and the solver would do so as well 96% of the time. And now we have a 5 of spades on the river, and the villain checks to us for the third time. I think now we have to bet this. The question is, how much is the correct bet here? I think I'm gonna bet 3/4, 12.5. And it's a EV loss, very small EV loss, and the solver plays it 11% of the time. But the ideal action is actually checking behind, and the solver does that 81.5% of the time. So in general, we should be giving up on the hand here, but occasionally trying to steal the spot is fine. We get raised, and of course we fold. Excellent. Pocket tens on 7-9 deuce with 2 clubs. I think this is a bad 2 spot. Yeah. Ace queen on 3 ace 6 with 2 hearts. I think it's a bad 2 spot. It is. The villain folds. Ace queen suited on queen 10 8. Is that a bet 5? It's again bet 2, but bet 5 is a third of the strategy and very small EV loss. Ace 6 suited on jack 10 9. Is this a bet 5? It is. Excellent. Pocket aces on ace 3 9 with 2 hearts. I think it's a bet 5, right? It is not. It is a bet 2. Interesting. Bet 5 is a minute part of the strategy, and a quite, well, maybe not quite big, but some EV loss. Good to know. Pocket queens on 10 jack 8 with 2 clubs. I think it's a bet 2. It's a bet 5, but bet 2 is a third of the strategy, and bet 5 is 46%. King 7 off suited on ace 7 7. I think that's a bet 2. Yeah. Pocket threes on queen 4 4. Is that a bet 5? Nope, it is not. It's a bet 2. Bet 5 is only 5% of the strategy, and a small EV loss. Okay. King 10 off on 8 6 ace with 2 spades. I assume it's a bet 2. Yes, it is. Excellent. We get called. There's a jack on the turn. Jack of clubs. Now do we continue betting here with our king 10 or do we check? And I think I'm going to go for a check, whilst the solver would actually overbet the pot here and do it 77% of the time with our hand. This is a really interesting spot to take a deeper look at, because the solver thinks the best strategy with king 10 on a board like that is overbetting, and he does that 77% of the time. Very interesting. Yeah, but there's a queen of spades on the river. We actually complete our straight, and the villain bets 7 BBs. Do we raise it or do we just call? If we raise it, can we get called by wars? Probably not, right? So I'm gonna call. It is not a good idea to just call it here. Ideal action would be to raise it to 20.5, and the solver would do that 99% of the time. So yeah, we played it badly. We should not be afraid of the flush here. We should be trying to get called to maximize our value. Ace queen off on a deuce jack 5 with 2 diamonds is a bet 2. It is a check, actually. Bet 2 is played 28% of the time. Okay. There's a jack of hearts on the turn, and the villain leads for a third of the pot. I think we have to call this, right? We should actually fold 83% of the time and call 12% of the time. I'm really interested to see what the villain's going to have here. There's a 6 of diamonds, and we're checking behind on the river. And we should actually be overbetting it here. Checking behind is fine. Is 6.4% of the strategy. Interesting. Bet 22, so the overbet is 90% of the strategy. Okay, so I guess the solver only floats here, really, this 5% of the time, with the intention of bluffing the river, probably on flushes completing. Very interesting. 5-6 of clubs on a 10-8-5. Are we going to bet 5 this here or check? I think we're betting 5, right? Yes, we are. but the villain folds. Jack 8 of spades with deuce deuce 9 on the flop, and we are betting 2. Yeah, betting 5 is the preferred play, but it's almost like 50-50. There's a 10 of hearts on the turn, and should we continue with the aggression or should we check? I think we should continue with the aggression, and I would bet 7 here, and solver would check 93% of the time. He would bet 3/4 3% of the time, and I guess around 5% he would bet either overbet or bet a third. Ace king off on a 3 ace 9 with 2 hearts. Is this a bet too? Yeah, I think so. It is actually a check, so it is interesting that the solver mixes in a check here quite often with ace king. I would be myself, I wouldn't play it like this because I would be afraid of the flush completing like it just did. The villain checks, and we're going to overbet for a change, and the solver would never do that here. He would check 60% of the time, so we will not find out what happens next in the hand because the solver didn't really play it this way ever. So there's a deuce of clubs on the river, and we are going to bet 3/4 again, and the villain folds. Queen jack off on a jack 4 deuce. Is it a bet 5? It's a bet 2. Bet 5 is a very small percent of the strategy. We get raised actually to 15 big blinds, and we're going to call. Yeah, the solver agrees. But now on a 7 of spades, the villain leads for 3/4, and we are going to fold this here. The solver agrees. 9, the pair of 9s on the 6-6 queen. I think we're betting 2 here. Yes. 10 queen on an ace 9 10. 8 9 10 with 2 diamonds, and I'm going to bet 5 here. The ideal action will be checking 58.6% of the time. Betting is fine, and is a 4/4 of the strategy. 4 of clubs on the turn. Are we betting here or are we checking? I think we are checking, and we should actually overbet it here 98.4% of the time. Checking is a 0.75 BB EV loss and is just 0.5% of the strategy, so we played it badly, guys, and we're going to check behind on the ace on the river. Yeah, the villain had 7-10 of clubs. He would have paid us off nicely on the turn, and we would actually win much more from him. But yeah, this is just one spot. King 10 of clubs on a king a6 is a bet 2. It is a check 85% of the time. Okay. 7 of diamonds. Guess we're checking now. Yes. And a deuce of spades. We're checking behind. Trying to realize equity. But the solver would preferably bet 5. 41% of the time, and check 57% of the time. We lose to ace 9. 10 jack off on a 5-9-9. Is that maybe a check? It's a bet too, 80% of the time. Now there's a 3 of diamonds, and the villain leads for 4.5. We're going to fold. The solver does so as well. Ace queen on a jack 8 jack with 2 hearts. Is that maybe a hand that we check? Nope, we should actually be betting 2, 83% of the time, but checking 16%. Now there's an ace on the turn, and we're calling the lead from the villain. And there's another 7 of hearts on the river, and we are also calling this off. And actually the ideal action would be to fold, which is weird, and is only a 18% play, but calling is 77.5. But I guess it's a slow EV loss. Small, so that's why folding is 0 EV loss, and that's why it lists this as ideal action, I think. Go to the next one. Ace 9 off on an 8-5-10 is a bet 2. It's bet 5 actually, which is interesting. Bet 2 is only 16% of the strategy. 9 of hearts on the turn. We're going to check. The solver does so as well, and king of diamonds on the river. Are we betting 3/4 here? I'm going to check. Yeah, the solver would do so as well, so I'm glad I didn't bet. I had a feeling to bet, but yeah, it's much better to just realize our equity with second pair, I guess. King 10 of clubs on 8-8-7 with 2 clubs. Is this a hand that we check sometimes? Nope, it's not. We should be betting 2, 87% of the time. Good to know. There's a 10 of diamonds on the turn, and we're going to overbet now. And we should not be overbetting here. We should just be betting 3/4. Good to know. But the villain folds anyway, so we go to the next one. We have pocket 7s On a king 9-6, we're betting 2. The ideal action is a check. It's played 58% of the time. Now there's a deuce of hearts on the turn. We're going to check behind. The solver would do so as well, but only 60% of the time. So 40% of the time we should be betting on a deuce here with 7s. And there's a 3 of diamonds on the river. And are we going to bet at this? I don't think we are. We're actually just checking behind to realize equity. Yeah, the hero agrees. I mean, the villain, the solver agrees, and we win the spot. King queen off on a king jack 9. Is this a bet 5? It is actually a check, 32.6% of the time. Bet 5 is a big part of the strategy as well, and a little EV loss. And now on a 3 of diamonds, the villain leads for 3/4. We're going to call this off. So does the solver. And we actually hit straight on the turn on the river. And I think we're shoving all in, or are we just 4xing it? I think we're 4xing it, right? Yeah, I'm going 4x it. And the solver would actually prefer shoving all in 35% of the time, and 65% of the time he 4x's it. Cool. Queen 10 of hearts on 8-8 deuce. With 2 diamonds, going to check this. Betting 2 would be the preferred play. Now there's a 10 of clubs on the turn. The villain leads. We're just going to call. So does the solver, and we have 8 of spades on the river, and we're going to overbet it here. And the solver would actually bet 3/4, and he would almost never overbet it. So it's just better to bet 3/4 on a board like this with our hand. Interesting. Okay, we've completed our 25 hands for the day. So let's just play this one and sum up. We have ace 9 off on a 10 jack king. I think we're betting 5 here. Yes. And everyone folds. So we're gonna exit the session. The overall EV loss is -20 on this session. We actually bet or raised the same amount as the GTO. We checked or called a little bit more, and we folded a little bit less than the GTO, than the solver. So that's a pretty good session actually. We just I think had 1-2 hands where we run under 1 BBs of EV loss. So yeah, that's pretty good. You can actually check out the overall stats, which are down to 39. Nope, I guess I clicked something else. Let's check this out. Yeah, our overall stats after 340 hands are -39 BBs. And we are slowly getting it down, but we have a long way to go still. So thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed watching this video, please leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Maybe some of these spots were interesting for you and you would maybe play them in a different way. Let me know if that's the case. Let me know if you have any questions as well. I'll be happy to answer them. Subscribe to this channel if you are not subscribed already. And if you'd like to check out this GTO trainer, you can find a link in the description of this video as well. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.